So you probably saw Multiversus and went, dang, I might need a GameCube controller. You see the platform fighters, you honestly think Smash Brothers, and now you think you're buying the cheapest GameCube controller you can find off the dollar store, Amazon, or eBay. Well, I have a hot take. Today, I decided, let's run it up again. What is the best and worst controllers to play with Multiversus? Multiversus has been out for 24 hours at this point, and I think we all have to acknowledge that everybody has different controllers they've been using in the game. Y'all remember EVO 2022? They played on PC primarily, and they used whatever controller they were comfortable with. Some people was using Leverless, some people was using PS4 controllers, some people were using hitboxes, and even the keyboard. And at the end of the day, disclaimer, when I do these videos, it's all a preference at the end of the day. I'm gonna give y'all my opinion on what I feel is the best and worst controllers for Multiversus, especially with how the game has changed drastically over the past year or so. Also, don't think this video is sponsored. I will be pushing a whole bunch of different brands and peripherals in this video just for the people. It ain't really sponsored or nothing. And if it's something unique that you probably like, I will drop the link to it in the description down below. Let's help everybody get some if y'all like it. Number one problem with the GameCube controller, the lack of buttons. Now mind you, it's good for Smash Bros because it only has 3 back buttons. Number one, I think I've grown fond of disliking the Z button. I don't like how hard it is. You might be able to replace it with modern controller mods and stuff like that. But generally, even the ultimate GameCube controllers, when they dropped them, still had this hard ass Z button. This shit clicky because this is a cheap version. There are other GameCube controllers that have all 4 back buttons like ZR and ZL as well, such as the Switch Pro controller and things of that. I think those are beautiful for these types of games. However, a general standardized GameCube controller might not cut it for Multiversus because there's more buttons you need more in this game as well. Another problem with Multiversus right now in its Seasons 1 state is that we do not have a smash stick option. We can't make things or change it to like the smash or the C-stick and stuff like that. The best benefit of the GameCube controller for Multiversus is you can't really change this, and it's very whack right now, I'll be honest with you. That's like my biggest complaint with the game. So I highly recommend using the GameCube controller with caution. If you just love it that much, you think it just makes sense for platform fighters, use it anyway. Like I said, it's a preference. Now I gotta be like Kendrick Lamar and drop the big 3 on y'all, or it's just big me. Y'all see what I mean by this. Next one, let's do the PS4 controller versus the PS5 controller. I still got my old dusty ass PS4 controller from back in the day, and my PS4 controller is already dying compared to this one overall. It's like crazy to me. And these cost too much to play fighting games on because they break and they expensive. Pads a lot of the times, unless you find them on sale, they go for a base $70. Hell no. While if you do have a brick converter, you can use your PS4 controller on your PS5. Essentially, you just gotta find the cable though. That's my problem right now. I don't think I had one of these cables for the PS4 controller for a minute. Like, I can't find one. I honestly think the PS4 controller is one of the best controllers or Sony controllers you can use on Multiversus right now. Number one, if you're a person that don't like using the analog stick for movement, but you want the D-pad, which I 100% agree, the D-pad is 100% better. I just grew up weird and I use the analog stick too. This D-pad is way better than the PS5 controller's D-pad. But again, if you get a PS4 controller, you will have to invest into the brick converter. The brick converter lets you use all PS4 controllers on your freaking system, PS5 as well. So yeah, I highly recommend getting the PS4 controller for Multiversus. If you're on PC, this is gonna help you. This is easy just to plug and play anyway, so you may not even have to pay for it. Now we talk about the PS5 controller. The biggest problem with the PS5 controller is I feel like it is a beautiful controller, but for everything outside of fighting games. I don't like how the D-pad is, this glossy plastic feeling, personally. For most people, this is the only option because it's what you have right out the box. So if you use it, you use it. You know what I'm saying? You gotta do what you can do, bro. Like, be for real, bro. This controller, I've had this since the release of the PS5, and right now, I think the lifespan, for me at least, I didn't get drift on these controllers till maybe 3.5, 4 years. I also don't like how, like, it's like that. What I really don't like about this controller is like it tried to take the aspects of what made the Xbox controller really good with its design and its weight, and I feel like it just doesn't work for fighting games. It took me a while to even adjust for fighting games on the PS5 controller, to be honest with you, but it's a preference. Lastly, I gotta talk about honestly one of the best controllers to play Multiversus on, and y'all are gonna be like, wow. I honestly think Xbox has had really good controllers since the Xbox 360 era. I think everything on this controller is honestly one of the best controllers of all time for fighting games. If you're gonna be a controller player, that is. Number one, their D-pad is superb compared to its competition. I like the clickiness. It has the GameCube controller like clickiness that you feel good hitting buttons, almost very similar to like an artificial leverless or fight stick. The triggers on the controller, you have to really press them, not really too hard, but they feel strong enough for hard presses constantly, you know, when you're playing a game. If you could get you an Xbox One controller or Xbox Series X controller, heck, even the Elite, which I don't have currently, this controller, right, I honestly think this is probably the second best controller you could use for Multiversus. And you know who I gotta shout out every time I do one of these videos? We gotta talk about the Kendrick Lamar of controllers. Big controller right here is the Victrix Pro. Why am I turning this the wrong way? Wrong way. I honestly love this controller so much. This controller is so peak. However, the FGC might tell you otherwise. Don't buy it. A lot of times people have had issues with the build quality, and it's not the issue of the build quality. The customer service is very shady or just very bad in a lot of scenarios. Like me, I'm fortunate enough to go to tournaments and events where they can fix it on the fly and check up on things. But sometimes the customer support just needs to get better overall. But the customization on this thing is really good. See how this normal controller pad right here? You could also turn the controller into a fight commander. This is really peak. It also comes with both multiple thumbsticks and multiple analogs to help you fix the controller as well. I think they cooked with this, as they should and as they always should. Also, if you're one of those people that just generally just like wireless stuff, you just don't want to deal with it, Victrix also comes with a wireless. It also comes with a wireless dongle that you can literally use it wireless as well. Just plug it into the console and you can cook and play with it whenever the way you want. However, I think the price for this controller is really perfect because of the amount of stuff that you can do with this controller. You essentially get 2 to 3 different types of controllers with this one purchase. You get like a normal upgraded PS5 controller, which is, I personally enjoy this overall compared to the PS5 controller. Then you get the Hori Fight Commander. What's really cool about this controller as well is that you have a PS4, a PC, and a PS5 option to toggle it to whatever platform you're playing on. So out the gate, it's plug and play for me. But what if you wanted to try something different? What if you wanted to play a platform fighter on like a Smash box? 100%. I have so many different Leverless to explain to you. There are like somewhat better investments than controllers, personally, for fighting games. You can also not just use these for Multiversus, but for fighting games in the future. If you look up Hate 42, these controllers legitimately have some of the best bang for your buck, and they're cheaper than most standardized leverless arcade sticks and hitboxes, whatever you want to call it. I did a review of this one already, and this one's really good because it works wireless as well. So if you're a person that wants to play it on multiple platforms, etc., this is the one for you. And this is as well. These are really good for Multiversus. However, I will say the learning curve to like throwing some items in the game will be the hardest part. But once you get used to the mobility, the movement, and the inputs of Multiversus with this, you could cook with it. And if you want to do more complicated stuff, you could put buttons right next to each other to do crazy things in Multiversus, especially like the new tech that Blitz and some other players found in early access. So I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. I'm finna learn how to play on Leverless on Multiversus just for the sake of my hands, and I don't want to break my PS5 controller because they're $70 and the other games come out. I got stick drift. Hell no, I hate it. My other PS5 controller is literally down there dead as hell on the floor because I tried to fix it and I didn't have the pieces to fix it. I'm pissed about it. So look, what is good, everybody? Lastly, this is one of my favorite controllers right now, and these are all going, a lot of them go for under $100 with some amazing build quality. PS5 controllers are already $70. You might as well just invest the $30 to get something that you can use not only for Multiversus, but other fighting games whenever you do play them in the future. And since Multiversus as a game right now doesn't have like crazy tech skill applicable stuff 100% right now compared to like Smash Brothers, I think it's perfectly fine to use this. Even if it does, you could just learn it and get better with it with the Leverless controller. Alright y'all, and the last controller I'm gonna teach y'all how to play with is to play with your iPhone. I'm trolling. That being said, it's your boy Avataryaya, and if you enjoyed any of this knowledge, information dump about the game with the controllers, please let your boy know. Comment down and let me know how y'all feel about the controller you're using right now. Are you gonna stick with the PS5 controller if you're on console? Are you gonna stick with your Xbox controller? Or are you looking to upgrade for something else? It's your boy Avataryaya, you guys are golden, and that is raw. Squalla, peace, and I'm out.
Never felt like this. Maybe it's the death of me. Like my own worst enemy.
All right, who's next?
Let's see who's stronger.